Hi, Kushi. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, it's a interaction with topper session. So we have with us Khushi Purohit, NID rank 1. So she will tell her experience, how she prepared, and how she's feeling right now, securing rank 1 in NID Open Category 2021. So, yes, Khushi, tell us something more about yourself, your name, family background, school name, etc.
Okay. Like you guys know, I'm Khushi Purohit. I'm currently 18 years old. I'll be turning 19 this year. Um, since this is somewhat of a creative thing, and the whole vibe of VRDS is nurturing creativity, I'm gonna try to keep this a little creative. Um, if I have to describe myself in one word, I think I would say adventurous. So I love to explore new things, people, places, activities, all of that. It's kind of in my blood. I mean, if I talk about my ancestry, I was born in this small township called Renukut in Banaras. And I am ethnically Rajasthani. Like, I'm from this village called Sikar in Rajasthan. My grandfather is from there, but I've never lived in both places. So I've never lived in UP and I've never lived in Rajasthan. I largely, like, my childhood was in Nepal and in Gurugram, in Hyderabad. And other than that, I've mostly been here in Vadodara, Gujarat. If I talk a bit about my school, I studied in one of the finest schools in Vadodara. It is called Navrachna Sama. So I studied in Navrachna from third grade till 12th grade, almost a decade. And I was also the head girl of my school last year when I was in 12th. I also topped humanities in my stream was humanities, so I topped humanities in my school in both. And besides that, I think my family background. I think um, it's funny that my entire family is somewhat of chartered accountants. Like, it is finance oriented. Both my parents, my father and my mother, are chartered accountants by qualification. My father works for this company called Rubamin Private Limited as a director strategies and management. And my mother is a financial advisor. She works in partnership with this company called NJ. uh, but I was like, I went on an entirely different tangent. I was like, I want to do design. So that's a little strange, but okay. Besides that, my hobbies are drawing, watching movies, listening to music, playing video games, something new I started. I also love to upcycle. So upcycling was something that was fairly new to me last year, and last year when I was in 11th. And it was something that I did a lead project on, and it was something I gave a TED talk on as well. So that's me.
Yeah, so that's great knowing about you. So, can you please tell what was your rank at NID?
So I secured All India rank 1 in both prelims and in mains for NID 2021.
That's nice. Congratulations once again, Khushi.
Thank you, ma'am.
So this is the question many like we have, like, when did you decided to pursue your career in design? Because you don't have that background. Also, your parents are chartered accountant. Your family is, as you mentioned, it's a finance related. So when did you got an idea that I want to make my career in designing?
So this is somewhat of a funny story. Okay, so when I was a fifth grader, I saw this movie called Barbie: A Fashion Fairy Tale, and I was obsessed with that movie, like, to a whole different level. And when I was in fifth standard, I was like, I want to be a fashion designer, come what may. I don't care. So my mom enrolled me for a fashion designing crash course when I was in sixth standard.
Okay.
So at a very young age, I was introduced to that industry because my parents were always very supportive. They saw my talent and they were like, you should embrace it. It is something I get from my father. He wanted to become a designer. He could not because back then it was not as accepted as it is today.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, so she got me, she enrolled me in a course for fashion designing. I went through with it, and 2 months into it, I was like, "Nahi, silai mere se nahi hoga. I cannot do this. This is not my jam. Let's try something else." So, but my passion and my interest and my aptitude, all of it lied in, designing. So after
Basically.
I stepped out of fashion, I was like, let's explore communication. So I did a course in graphics from Arena Animation. So I tried out softwares like Illustrator and Photoshop, InDesign, all of those, and that set well with me. I was having fun there, so I took it to like the next level, and I tried to explore some more of design because though I enjoyed communication design, I was like, abhi aur bhi hai. So let's try that out as well. So I did a bit of upcycling. That's when, like in 11th, I was introduced to the concepts of upcycling, and it's basically turning discarded waste into something useful. So what my project was basically upcycling flex banners, hoardings,
Okay.
into pouches and bags. So I did a entire TED Ed talk on it. I did a lead project on it, and it was received very well, and I really enjoyed it. So I think that was that one point. Even though like throughout my life I was always very design oriented, upcycling was where I decided that I want to serve the environment through design. And like you get that eureka moment wherein you're like, okay, this is what I want to do in life. So that was what happened with me in 11th, and I was like, bas ab bhi final, this is what I want to do. Kaise hoga that we'll see, but I want to contribute to the environment through my creative abilities. So
That's great. Yeah, that's really, really nice. So for how long you have been into drawing and sketching? So like you started sketching, as you said, from sixth grade.
yeah,
So from that onwards only you started, or it was just before that also you were interested?
I was always a very I always like to draw. Like I used to draw wherever I used to get the chance. And my art class used to be one of my favorite classes. I mean, usually students hate it. I used to love it. So I always used to draw, but more than drawing and sketching, I think I was always a more crafty person. I
Okay.
used to play around with paper a lot, origami and clay modeling and quilling and all of that. That was more of my jam. Uh, but I was never serious on sketching. Like I've seen artists like my batchmates, some of my batchmates at NID, they are fantastic artists, like sketching and drawing. And that was never my jam. I was more of a crafty person, but I used to draw ever since I was a child. Like hafte mein ek baar to pakka hi. And when I was in 10th, then I used to draw regularly, like every day. So from 10th onwards, I started drawing every day. Uske pehle it used to be like once a week, something like that.
Okay. So you used to make that 3D models after your 10th also, or it was just when you were a kid you would like to make some crafts and everything?
I evolved. So
Okay.
from like definitely like preparation for NID and NIFT required model making. So I used to make models then also. But we evolved to thermocol and sculptures, and in school also we started working more with box boards, mount boards, and stuff like that. So I left clay and paper behind, and we moved on to more hardcore materials. And I think now NID is going to provide me with wood. I wonder what I'm going to do with that.
You are great. You will do wonders. So, how much BRDS study material was helpful to you for your preparation for NID, and when did you enroll for BRDS study materials for NID preparation?
Okay, so when did I enroll? First, I'll answer that.
Yes.
Um, I started my preparation in like just before my 12th started, just before COVID hit. So I signed up for BRDS's material in February 2020.
Mhm.
And I started solving, like I got your mock test series and I started solving it on the first day. I was like, let's give this a shot. So that's when I enrolled for my material. How helpful it was. I'm sure that you're going to, show this to your students. So I'm going to be very honest. BRDS's material is very helpful because that material trained me. It trained me to write the paper. But
Mm.
what to write on the paper was that extra mile that a student has to go if they want to, you know, get through with NID or NIFT or UCID, whatever.
You have to practice more. That is like,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is of course, but it give you a roadmap that
yeah,
you
definitely.
it gives you a roadmap, and that is very important so that they know what they want to learn and where they lag behind.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So, what are your insights for NID DAT prelims and DAT mains?
Okay, both.
Yes.
um I wrote them down because I had like an idea, so I wanted to give out the best possible content. The first thing that I noticed, I was reflecting back on my journey throughout my preparation, and I recall that the first thing that used to pop in my head was, how to make my portfolio and what to put in my portfolio and how to go about it. And I would like to tell all students that, don't think about your portfolio before you write prelims. Prelims ka paper, like after you're done writing your prelims ka paper, only then start worrying about your portfolio. Because while you're practicing for, your prelims and you're making all those perspective sketches and you're brainstorming and your creative thinking, all of that is what will ultimately, be a part of your portfolio. Because it's your portfolio is more about your evolution
Mhm.
as a design aspirant and as a design student than about wonderful and beautiful paintings or sketches. Sure, they should be a part of it too, because that is your skill set. But
Mm.
then what matters is your growth. Because what that institute wants to know is whether or not you can learn, whether or not you can grow more. And unless you show them that you can grow, they wouldn't know. So
Yes.
don't panic about your portfolio before writing prelims, because out of like 15-20,000 students, 600 clear prelims, the other don't. So focus on prelims so much that you can assure yourself, okay, I will pass. And now this is when I start working on my portfolio, because I used to panic a lot about it. And I realized while I was writing my paper that it's kind of pointless.
Mhm.
So that's one. The second is explore as much as you can. Like I said, study material will show you a roadmap, like ma'am said also.
Yes.
But every extra bit that you do will go a long way. So, when I was preparing for my preparation, I used to solve challenges like on a weekly basis. One week I used to do live sketching challenges, 10 human figures a day, 10 faces a day, 100 faces challenge, 100 human figure challenge, perspective challenges, inktober, all of that. So I used to take up challenges like that. So that all comes in extra exploration. Aside, like besides that, reading, you know, or watching movies, like if you don't like to read, even that comes in exploration. So I remember I used to watch animated movies and I used to read books both while I was preparing for prelims, because there's only so much you can exhaust your brain, right? After a point, you need a break. So even
Yes.
when I was watching movies or even when I was reading, I used to have that design thing in mind. So I was watching Aquaman actually. This one day I was watching Aquaman, and I realized that the characters they're building, the costume they're creating, the whole aura they're giving, it's done by designers. It is done by VFX designers. So you change your perspective of looking at things and you find information everywhere and inspiration everywhere. So explore as much as you can. People, artists, art pages, news channels, books, movies, challenges, whatever you can find, whatever you can get your hands on, because everything you do, you will use in your paper. Believe me, because I straight up repeated something I made for Inktober in one of my posters in my NID prelims. Like we had to make a poster on bullying, and I had made a similar like graphic, the one I made in my poster for Inktober ka one of the prompts, which was disgusting. So a prompt in Inktober became my inspiration for my poster in NID prelims. So that's why I say explore as much as you can. uh, Third would be find yourself, your style, your inspiration, your expression, your personality. Because what matters, what I feel matters in NID is that, when you're solving a solution, it should speak for itself. And it can only speak for itself when you give it a personality. And you can only give it a personality when you know your own, because you have to give it your own. You can't give it anything else. So we have this question, okay? We had this question in our paper, which was illustrate a scenario wherein you're studying for an online class and your sibling is coming and bothering you. And we were given a door. A door was pre-made for us, a slightly opened door. And what I had done was something basic. Everything everyone would do was, they'd make their entire composition, and a bed, a desk, a computer, a sibling coming and bothering them, whatever. It is that little personality that I added to it. So what I done was I made my sister wear those big photo booth glasses, those big yellow color glasses. Then I'd given her a clown cap, a clown nose, and Uttarayan, the kite festival, usme jo poopdi hoti hai, the one that people play, that I had put her in her mouth. And she's coming and screaming, look what dad got for quarantine games. So quarantine games was something we had hosted for family friends. And that is how I built her character. And my personality. So I love animals. So I added a fishbowl and a dog in my bedroom. I don't have one. My parents are, pet phobic. So I don't have one, but I like them. So I added it. Even small details like a cluttered desk. It's kind of my thing. I sit in a mess. So I added all of that. Even this teddy, I added that teddy also. I made a teddy on the bed. And those small things that make a big difference. And then there's observational factors to it. So um, when I made my laptop, I was like, okay, there is a full HD a sticker over there. There is Acer written over there. There is an Intel sticker. There is an NVIDIA sticker. So when you make all of that, they realize that, okay, this person is observant. They know what belongs where. So that's why I say, find yourself and put your personality on paper, because it makes you stand out, because every person is unique, and what makes them unique is themselves. And the last would be regular. For insights, it's like do your life sketching, do your perspective sketches, practice, do your mock tests, solve your questions, prepare for NID the way IITians prepare for JEE. And if you put that much heart and soul into it, you'll crack it.
Regular practice is a must, because every day you will learn something.
Exactly.
And it's something new only.
Yeah.
So, next question to you is, according to you, how important is to understand the basic concept of design and drawing? Because major portion when we talk about NID is of drawing and design related. So how important is to understand the concept? Because they don't want a drawing with a full-fledged, realistic view or anything like that. So how concept is important?
Okay, so the thing is, first of all, there are straight up rules. So when I was learning perspective, okay, my teacher used to tell me that anything that's closer to you has to be bigger, and anything that's further has to be small. One thing that I realized after I came out from, writing my paper, we were just discussing answers and everybody was telling their solutions. Many students did not make their laptop big enough. Like they made a chotu sa laptop. Now you are sitting in front of the laptop. Your laptop has to occupy the most amount of space. It's kind of given. So that those kinds of rules and those kinds of straight up points that drawing and design theory teaches you, nothing else can. So you have to be very particular about those things. You have to put perspective if you are sketching out a room.
Yes.
So that is where it matters a lot. And the second thing is, as far as the concept is considered, so like I said, whatever I made, so many people around me, they were coloring their composition, they were detailing it, they were shading it. My entire composition was made out of 1 micron pen. I took a micron pen with me, 0.3 nib, 0.3 nib, and I made my entire drawing of my first question with that, just that. No shading, no hatching, no nothing doing. I just made a random essay pura composition, and I added a story to it. So all those little things I mentioned, right, those were what I feel fetched me marks, because I was running low on time also. I mean, time is a luxury in NID's paper. So I was like, ठीक है, फटाफट बनाओ, and then we move to the next. So that's why I just made whatever I made with a single pen. Later on, I came back, I added a few hatches here and there to show depth, which is a little necessary. But besides that, it was pretty basic. So what NID essentially looks for is your concept. They do look at your line work as well. They do look at your concept of sketching and your style of sketching and everything as well. But what essentially matters is your concept. Because, like I said, I have batchmates who are amazing at sketching, but I was not. I was never very good at sketching. It was not my forte. And that's why I was very worried for the paper also. But uh, your concept pulls you through everywhere.
Yes.
So that is what matters more than how beautifully you present it or how well you make it. And I think that's that.
Yeah, concept is only the thing which an ID looks into when they used to check your
Yeah.
papers.
Yeah, definitely.
So how did you manage both your board exam and entrance exam together, and what subjects you had in your 12th grade?
Okay.
10
So
plus 2.
um okay. I've got this question from a lot of students, those who contacted me personally. The thing is, you have to be very goal oriented and very focused, because I was not, I swear to God, I was not preparing for boards. I was not, because I have always been a good student and I was a humanities student. So, like, people do get offended when, people undermine humanities, but there is no doubt that humanities is an easier subject. It is way easier compared to, physics and chemistry and all of that. So, my subjects in school were commercial arts, which was drawing, English, psychology, web applications, and entrepreneurship. All five of which I had chosen by myself in 11th, and all five of which I was very good at. So for me, boards was a very secondary thing. Like, I called up my teachers. I'm like, I'm not going to attend school classes. I will just attend as much as, it's needed for my attendance. And I am not going to prepare for boards. You can't change my mind. I called them up and I told them. So, because the thing is, you can't have everything. I got lucky. Okay. I got really lucky. I did not have to write my paper and I was scored on my internals. So for me, even not studying worked out. But one thing that I'd like to say is 5% in boards will not change your future. Like, if you're a good student, you get 90%, you're getting 85 or 80%, it doesn't matter. It will not change who you are. But that 5% in NID is a matter of who gets selected and who does not. So in my early days of preparation, I used to, argue with my mom daily. I'm like, padhai nahi karne de rahe ho aap ye wo. My parents used to do that to me. They were like, you better not study. Like, if you study for boards, we are going to kick you out. Go study for NID. My parents were that sorted. So you have to be that sorted.
Yeah. What you want to do and where you want to go.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
clear in your head, then you can definitely, prioritize and balance both.
yeah, true.
So communication plays a very important role in design, especially at the entrance stage with the interview. Because in the second round, there is an interview session also when we talk about that mails. So what are your thoughts on the same? Like how communication plays an important role?
The design industry is all about communication. It is all about, communicating a feeling or a thought or a concept, whatever. Which is why it is very important that anybody who wishes to be a designer is good at all forms of communication, verbal, written, and visual. Mainly visual, but verbal and written as well. So I don't doubt it at all. It is vital. It is top priority, which is why we say that designers should read. They should watch movies, they should read poetry, they should, creative people, they are closely in touch with all sorts of arts, uh, fine arts, visual arts, performing arts, all of it. That's because it's all in some way or the other communication.
Yes.
Even like Kathakali dancers, they communicate with eye movement and leg movement. It's communication. It's so um, and one thing that I'd like to put across is, don't let language be a barrier, because like the interviewers, they're pretty friendly. For me, I was a little nervous getting going into it, but even if you want to talk to them in Hindi, I think they'll be pretty cool about it. So if you're not comfortable with something, don't go for it. Just like be in your element, because I talked to a few NID pass outs, MDes pass outs, and they told me that we came from villages and we did not know English back then. So we communicated in Hindi with the interviewers and they were all cool about it because we were able to put our point across. So
That is
it
important.
is vital that you communicate, and you communicate in the form that is most comfortable to you,
Hmm.
because they will adapt. They will not have a problem with it. They're not there to judge you. They are there to understand you as a person and your thought process. So that's that. I mean, communication is vital. It is very important.
You can communicate in any language, but
Yeah.
communication is very important.
Yeah.
So, what tips, at last, I would ask, like, what tips would you like to you kept in your mind for cracking an ID exam, and how should they can make maximum use of the study material?
Okay. How should people make maximum use of study material? This was something I learned from my mother. Okay. So, what my mom used to do was she used to get me books and, mock tests and everything. After I'm done solving a mock test, like I used to solve it under time barrier. You have to solve mock tests with a clock. Like you cannot
Yes.
be like, abhi to hum aise kar rahe hain, paper mein clock leke baithenge. Nahi, that's not gonna work. You have to sit with a clock when you're solving your mock tests as well.
So
And yeah, that practice is needed. And after you're done solving your mock test, like one mock test, in 2 days is a good thing to do. You don't have to overexert yourself ki din mein do teen kar rahe ho. No, that's not required. uh, One mock test in 2-3 days is fine, and you go back to that mock test in the coming days and you analyze it. So suppose if there is a question in your mock test or in your book which is about a poster. So
Hmm.
first off, NID usually gives you options. We did not have any. We did not have options, but they usually give you options. So when they give you options, if your mock test has options, you better make a poster on both of those options. First off, second, if there is a poster, find the topics and make more posters,
Different.
because you have to explore and exhaust every potential type of question that they've asked so far, and every potential type that they can ask in the future. So I used to do that. Then suppose if I have a question on, alternative uses, which was very common. I was expecting a question on alternative uses. We did not get one. But so there was one question about alternative uses of a hanger that was asked many years back. Then there was one about a bulb, which was asked in 2020. Then there was about, tap and tire and stuff like that. That was also asked a long time back. But if you see that, they're asking alternative uses, then exhaust alternative uses that you have, or, that everybody has, like a charger, everybody would have, a wristwatch, everybody would have, a pencil, everybody would have, a chappal, everybody would have. Make alternative uses of those things. Like, daily things, toothbrush, paste, sabun ka bottle, all of that. So I used to do all of that. I used to do a lot of alternative uses questions, and I used to have fun in it because it's somewhat, to a large extent, it is the core of upcycling, finding a purpose to something that has already served its purpose, right? So I used to have a lot of fun in doing that. So I used to solve a lot of those questions also. Then storyboards, very important. So make as many storyboards as you can. Find questions. You'll get questions in previous year papers also. You'll get questions in mock tests also. Because stuff like that you can only learn with practice. Nothing else is going to help you. So that is how you make optimum use of your study material. You don't just solve it. You dissect it. You analyze it. You create more questions based off it. And tips I think I covered most of them in insights itself. A few more things that I'd say is manage your time very well, because we got time because our paper was in a 60-40 ratio. We had 40% MCQ and 60% drawing, not 30-70. But if at all they change back to 30-70, you're dead. Because if you have 70% drawing, you're gone. You need to be on the clock like crazy because paper khatam nahi hoga. So there is that. Another thing is, even though drawing has more weightage, the more scoring part is MCQ. I am sure that I must have scored 40 out of 40 in the MCQ.
Okay.
Because if not, I cannot get the score I got. It's not possible. so don't underestimate the MCQ. Like, do your GK, because you might think that it is very vast and you can't cover it, but watching 15 minutes of news every day or following accounts like Better India, it goes a long way. Because you will, like, we had a question on Bharat Ratna, who got awarded the Bharat Ratna for a woman got awarded a Bharat Ratna for some sort of a painting. What painting was it? Now, I don't remember reading it, but I remember seeing a post on Better India. And I blindly went like, हाँ ठीक है, Madhubani होगा. I came back, I Googled it, it was correct. So you may not always find the right content, but if you follow enough resources, if you keep track of enough materials, and if you give your 100%, then nothing can stop you. Everything will fall in place for you. So don't underestimate GAT at all, because it is very scoring. And if you score marks there, the possibility of you passing is higher. Like, anybody who scores above 35 out of 40 in GAT is already halfway through the cutoff, more than half. So that's how it becomes easier. So there's that. And other than that, be original. Don't, okay, one thing, okay, I'm confessing this on a screen. I'm really not happy about it, but fine. In NIFT's paper, okay, while I was writing my paper, I looked up and I turned around for 1 second, and I got a glimpse of a yellow emoji being made next to my paper. Like, I was sitting here, that other person was sitting here. I looked up and I just turned around. I wanted water, and I was sipping on water and I was looking around, and I saw a yellow emoticon on a paper. Okay. My mind got fixed on a yellow emoticon. I could not think beyond that. An emoji comes in so many shapes, sizes, faces, characters, but I could not think beyond a yellow emoticon. And that is only because I looked up off my paper. because I got a glimpse of something that I should not have gotten a glimpse of. And if I did not, like, I did not have a very good rank in NIFT. I qualified, but somewhere in the 700s.
Okay.
So and I blame that yellow emoticon for it. So don't look, paper se sar mat uthana, don't look up at all, because put your heart and soul onto the paper, be yourself, have your own creativity, your own imagination, go wild. I mean, we were discussing our papers, you know, the NID batch, the 2021 batch that got formed this year, sorry. And what happened was, one of my friend was telling me that we had to make a poster on tea. She made a witch with a cauldron, and in the cauldron the witch was making tea. I mean, go crazy. Like, that is what, be yourself, do whatever you want to, be whatever you want to, because that is what makes you unique, and that is what makes you creative. So even what I did was, I sliced my cup in half. I mean, logically you can't drink tea in a sliced cup, but I was like, meko karna hai, I will do it. And other thing was, I don't drink milk tea, I drink green tea. I don't drink tea at all. So I made tea also, I made green tea. I came out, I was like, Abhi, if they cut marks for this, what will happen? But then I forget that that is what made me unique. Thousands of kids must have made doodh wala chai, but I made green tea, and that made me stand out. So be very, very true to yourself. Do whatever you feel like in the paper. They're not going to, you know, judge you for it. That's about it.
Okay. So this was all about my questions. Thank you, Khushi, for being here. This will really help our students to understand better about NID and crack, and keep in mind whatever you said. So thank you for giving your time to us. It was great talking to you.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I had fun too.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All the very best for your future endeavors.
Thank you, Mom.
Yeah. Okay. Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Have a great